So we talked about workarounds for the F chord. One of the workarounds is when you're playing the F major chord, try as you may not get that highest E string to ring, so we just get a dead note. Ideally, yes, it would be ringing. But if it's muted, that's okay. It sounds kind of hollow because it's only 3 notes. But there is another workaround. If it's what we call the 4 chord in a song. So if you're in the key of C and you're playing the F chord, you can actually play an F major 7 chord sometimes. Now, is it always appropriate? No, it's not. But sometimes it works, and sometimes it actually makes for a really cool moment. So an F major 7 chord is what we call a secondary open chord. It's not one that we use all the time. I typically don't bother to teach it to people until they ask me about it, or if they show me a song that, that uses it. F major 7 is just like an F chord. But the difference is we're going to arch our pointer finger. Instead of clamping it down to try to get both notes, we're going to arch our pointer finger and have a high E string be open. Very nice chord in the proper context. How do you know if it's the proper context? Well, try it. And if it sounds too sophisticated, well, then don't do it anymore. But if it works, it works. And it might be one of those moments where you're like, oh, that's it. Ooh, I like it. Another workaround is if that F major 7 isn't really working for you, you can play an F add 9 chord. Again, the tricky thing about the F chord is these 2 notes up top, the B string and the high E string, first fret, clamping down on multiple strings. So what you can do is you're not using your pinky. An F add 9 chord is same fingering as all the way up until the high E string, 3rd fret of the D string, 2nd fret of the G, 1st fret of the B, and then you're going to take that pinky who's not doing anything and you're going to put him on the 3rd fret of the high E string. Kind of a cool chord. Again, it may be a little too sophisticated for whatever the context is of the song that you're doing it, but it might not also. It sounds kind of like this in context. And if you remember, when we're playing a C chord, we can actually use that pinky note anyway. Makes for kind of a cool transition. Again, if it doesn't work, use your ear, and if your ear says, no, that's too much, we don't want that, then don't do it. Same thing with the F major 7. If F major 7 is a little too spicy, well then great. I guess ultimately you can just do the little muty trick, dead guy, and that'll work. Eventually though, of course, you're going to work really hard and you're going to get that finger to clamp down and get both of the notes that you should.